Okay, so we just watched the trailer and it blew my mind. Like, it's everything I wanted. It's everything I wanted. So we're gonna look into the IGN kind of from software speaks and then kind of just give a little construction and try to see what's going on with the game because the game looks from the trailer looks amazing. So, but we're gonna just see how everything else is.
All the way from Japan by producer Yasunori Ogura to talk all about Armored Core 6. How are you?
Hi there, I'm great, thank you. I'm Yasunori Ogura from Software, producer on Armored Core 6. It's great to be here.
How long has
Brought the
Armored Core
news.
6
He
been
brought the
development,
news.
and what has it been like for From Software to return to this franchise that was such a big part of the company for such a long time?
So, we have been cultivating development staff through our experience with recent titles, and there were many members of staff, including Miyazaki and myself, who've wanted to make a new Armored Core game for a long time. So, really, not making a new Armored Core was never really an option. It was a case of when rather than if. As to the game's direction and development, in around 2018, Miyazaki and some core members of the team began initial direction and forming the basic core concept of AC6.
Okay.
And after prototyping was complete, our director Yamamura took over on the project. However, as you know, we have several projects going on at the same time within the company, so we had to get an ideal allocation of resources. We had to get the right staff on board, which resulted in a slightly longer wait, but we're happy to finally bring a new Armored Core to our fans.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the story of Armored Core 6 and whether newcomers will be able to jump right into this entry if they haven't played any of the other ones?
This is a brand new story and has no direct link to previous titles. AC6 takes place in a future where interstellar travel is commonplace,
Okay.
not on Earth, but on a fictional planet in a distant star system called Rubicon 3. Rubicon is a devastated planet that was razed to ash in a great disaster caused by the outbreak of a mysterious new substance called coral.
Activating cerebral coral control device.
Oh, okay.
Which occurred half a century before the events.
I
of the
wonder
game
if there's
took
like
place.
some element of
At
like
the outset of the
resource
game,
management
and
with
the story, the
stuff.
player learns that coral, which was thought lost in this great disaster, has been rediscovered, and extraterrestrial corporate forces have begun an invasion race to acquire the rights to this mysterious and powerful new substance. So they are
Oh,
in conflict with the indigenous forces who are resisting their invasion on the planet Rubicon. And the player, as
Okay.
a lone independent mercenary and AC pilot, is thrust into this Rubicon war for coral. So although AC6 is a numbered title, the setting and story are completely new, and we believe it makes a great first entry into the series for newcomers and old fans alike.
We're close to Rubicon.
Okay, that sounds so sick. So it's
So
like
let's talk
it's
a
an
little
arms
bit about
race.
Rubicon as a setting. Is there anything that's unique about the planet that will allow for kind of unique mission structures that people haven't seen in the Armored Core series previously?
There are two things we'd like to convey to both newcomers and old hands to the series. Armored Core offers two unique game experiences. First is this dynamic, three-dimensional action that can only be achieved with mix. And the second is the ability to customize your own personal AC by combining multiple parts,
Yep.
decorating it to your liking with painting and decals and the like. So these player-assembled, player-controlled ACs are able to fly freely
It
through the air
really looks
and
like it's
handle
more
multiple
taking
weapons
from Armored
simultaneously
Core 2 and 3
turn on a
and
dime, dash in different
some
directions
stuff
at
from
once.
the later
This makes
generations.
for a dynamic and very aggressive combat style that makes full use of the three-dimensional space. And we feel that this is
Which is
always
interesting,
been an
'cause I thought they
appeal
would go
of,
from 4 and
the
5,
Armored Core
but
series, and is an appeal
It
of
seems
the
it's a
mech
little
action
bit
genre.
less
For
extremely
die-hard
fast-paced.
Armored Core fans, what are the elements of Armored Core 6 that those hardcore fans are going to find appealing about this game?
With AC6, one area we focused on was to make sure that the customization aspect is not just about parameters going up and down and numerical values changing, but how these changes are reflected in the feel of the action as much as possible. In particular, the leg parts, which control the AC's movement, you might have a tank type legs that can perform drift turns, and this changes the very basic behavior.
The drifting
of
is
the
so
type of
good,
EAC.
man.
We also made sure that the behavior of weapons, such as the way they shoot, how they recoil, how their projectiles behave, we tried to make sure that this all makes a big difference in how the game feels and plays.
Hell yeah, man. Give me that Armored Core
speaking
goodness.
a little bit about that customization, Armored Core games have a bit of a reputation for being very complex, with many stats to consider, parts to swap in and out. Is there anything else that you guys are planning on doing with Armored Core 6 to make it a little more approachable for newcomers who might not be used to that level of complexity?
As you mentioned, Armored Core has always been a game with many parameters and is a game where you can enjoy the complexity and depth it offers, but we feel it's also a game where you can enjoy simply by assembling your AC without thinking too deeply about it, and adjust the appearance to your liking and simply get out there and pilot it and take it into combat. That said,
Okay.
in regard to new players, we've taken careful steps with the onboarding and level design in the early stages of the game, so that players can deepen their understanding step by step, little by little, and
Okay.
work their way into that fun of the
They're
more
doing
complex parts.
gameplay,
We've also prepared
um,
a training simulator
training
where
instead
the
of,
player
like,
can
you know,
learn the basics of
making it
action
really
and
easy.
assembly using sample ACs, and we've also tried to make the controls more intuitive, so that we hope that those who have no experience with the series will feel free to enter and enjoy the feel of piloting their very
so
own
sick. It's
Armored Core.
totally got the
Are there
2 and
any
3
lessons
feels.
that you guys have learned over the many years you've spent developing the Souls games that you take into the development of Armored Core 6, even though they're kind of two very different genres?
Armored Core 6 is an attempt to take both the knowledge and experience gained from the development of our previous titles and combine it with the fun of mech customization that the AC series has always embraced. And in this sense, we hope to create a new mech action game that is worthy of modern From Software standards. Specifically, we're developing this game with an awareness of the things that From Software has always embraced in its other action games, such as a intricate map structure, combat design that allows players to deal with enemies by carefully observing their movements, and the
Okay.
ability to overcome challenging situations with ingenuity.
Okay, this is
and
good because it
creativity.
won't be like
These are
enemies
all,
just
of course,
walk
things we've
in a
kept in mind
line or just
with
kind of stay in
AC6 as
place.
well.
They're probably
However, as you
bringing
mentioned, the basic
different
format
attacks.
and genre of Armored Core is completely different from games in, for instance, the Souls lineage. So there are no aspects of the game mechanics or gameplay that can be directly observed.
You ready to climb the wall?
Can you talk a little bit about your goals with the combat design, and are there any kind of mechanics that players should know about that perhaps didn't exist in previous Armored Core games?
Yeah, here.
In terms of
Let's
points
go.
we focused on this time around, I would say that individuality of the melee weapons is one of the key points. Armored Core is mainly a shooting game at heart, and that's exactly why we had this policy of having more unique melee weapons this time around. So
Yeah,
in
those
addition to the
swords are
well-known pile
ridiculous.
bunker and the cluster bomb launcher that you might have seen in the trailer, there are also a variety of weapons with different animations and more unconventional characteristics,
Freaking
such as a
whip.
chainsaw and a laser lance, and things like this. In the trailer, you may have also seen a part where the core is deployed by an AC to generate a shockwave, and the pile bunker is then used against an opponent who is reeling back from this shockwave. This kind of building combos with multiple weapons aspect is an appeal of AC6's unique assembly.
Oh,
and
okay,
combat.
so
And we hope
combination
that players will
attacks.
enjoy using their creativity and asking
That dude
themselves,
looks
what
insane. I can't
combination
wait
of
to fight
weapons
him.
can I use to create my ideal combo attacks and secure victory?
So is there any one new thing, whether it's a mechanic or a mech part or a weapon, that you're particularly proud of and are excited for players to experience in Armored Core 6?
I'd like players to mostly look forward to something we touched on earlier, which is this using their ingenuity and creativity to create a combination of their own making, and a combination of the various parts and weapons.
See,
at their
this is
disposal.
gonna be insane
So, for
because
example,
Armored Core
they might
fans
be
do
dashing
a
across
lot
the
with
battlefield
limited
while shooting ballistic
like
weapons
customization.
and letting missiles fly in every which direction. These missiles will connect with their
There's a
enemy,
lot,
knock them off
but
balance, and then they'll use their assault
You have to
boost
think outside the box.
dash in with a quick burst of speed and finish with a melee strike. This kind of player-created combo and their own unique combination of weaponry and mobility will allow for this new aggressive, offensive style of AC combat, and we hope this is something that reinvigorates the series and that new and old fans alike can enjoy.
Multiplayer has always been a big part
Okay,
of
here-
the
yeah,
Armored Core
I was
series.
curious about
Is there
this.
anything you can tell us about multiplayer in Armored Core 6?
So I believe ACV was more focused on multiplayer as the last title in the series. But first of all, the main content of AC6 is positioned as single-player campaign mode where you progress through a more traditional mission structure. There will be an online PvP mode where players can compete against each other with ACs they have built and share their AC data and emblems of their own making
Okay,
with
so
other users.
or like an arena
But
mode.
first and foremost, the story missions in AC6 are single player only. We would like players to go in there, become the lone mercenary lifestyle, and enjoy this aspect of the game first and foremost. We do hope to share more details about the online aspect at a later date, so please stay
I wish they
tuned.
would have asked, like, are these mission based? Or there's double layers? How long are like? Is it like one big long campaign? Like, what's going on here? I know it's like a
Alright, well,
single
that
player
about wraps it
experience,
up.
but
Ogura-san, thank you so much for your time.
I wish they would
Armored Core
delve
6
more into
Fires of
how
Rubicon
the
is
maps
set for
work.
release this August 25th on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. Thanks for
or
watching,
even the
and for
bosses
everything
too.
else,
You
keep it
didn't
right
really talk
here.
about the
Thank
bosses.
you.
All right, that was sick. I am really hyped. I like the combat that he's talking about, the combo attacks, and I'm just like, man, I'm. It's done. It's done. I mean, it's done. I'm getting this game. It's everything I want. It's everything I want, dude. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. I will talk to y'all later. And whenever the next Armored Core 6 stuff comes out, I'll see you then. So, bye.
Awesome. I think I'd have to see what you guys said first go. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, this is the take. This is what we're going with. Boom.